Much like a certain pink-adorned doll woman who was very popular this summer, it's time to think about dying. Welcome to the FGS Horror Club, where I shine a spotlight on the best in horror, and maybe your new favorite game you just don't know about yet. Today I wanted to talk about some games which scare you not necessarily with the explicit visual content they present, but keep you awake at night with thoughts and ideas that stick with you. True psychological horror. I'm going to try not to talk spoilers or too academically about my readings on the games, just to give you the freedom to go in blind. But without further ado, here's 6 mind-crushing games, because 6 is the scariest number. Number 1, Silent Hill 2. Come on, you already knew this was going to be in the video. Silent Hill 2 is the Citizen Kane of horror games. It's a game that needs no introduction. What at first seems like a town-wide ghost story of a haunted place terrorizing a poor widower, punishing him for his sins by pulling out the worst of his mind into a twisted facsimile of a place his late wife loved. My favorite parts of this incredible game are the times when you see the other 2 people lured into this siren town and get hints of what they did to end up here and what the town looks like for them, even seeing into their minds as the game nears its end.
It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
There are countless interpretations and readings of every detail in every corner of this game, and if you haven't played this iconic game before now, there's a remake of the game that is hopefully going to come out sometime next year, as well as the new Silent Hill movie, seemingly based largely on this second game. Number 2, Scorn. After years and years and years of teasers and reworks and mystery, last year we finally got to play Scorn. This Bakinski and Geiger-inspired puzzle game is akin to a 3D version of puzzle games like Inside or Little Nightmares. It perfectly captures the feeling of being in a truly alien place, where you'll never truly understand what is happening or where you are, or even what the machinery you're interacting with truly does. But if you push through, just maybe, you'll become enlightened enough on what's happening here. Or maybe you won't. It's a shame this game was advertised more as an action game instead of the puzzle game that it actually is, but I hope one day it finds its audience. It never really got as much buzz after release, and I think it's worth a lot more than it was given. It's available on PC and Xbox via Game Pass, as well as Steam and PlayStation 5. Number 3, Doki Doki Literature Club. If you want a free psychological horror game that will hit you hard in the moment, but won't exactly have you writing essays about the depths of its subtext, oh, and did I mention it's free? Doki Doki Literature Club is the obvious choice. I'd say this game would work well as a prank game, but considering that this game went hugely viral and became one of the biggest games of the year it came out, I doubt anyone would be fooled now, like I was when it first came out and I booted it up out of curiosity at what appeared to be a pretty bland visual novel. But it's a great time, especially with some friends. You can watch take all the surprises for the first time. It's free on Steam, and Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch now. Number 4, Observer. From Bloober Team, Observer has you playing as a detective in a dark cyberpunk world. You have the ability to enter the minds of others on your quest to catch a killer. In 2020, the game received a remake titled System Redux, with fully overhauled visuals, mechanics, and extra content. So it's a better time than ever to dip into this dystopian nightmare. This game will have you wondering what's real and what isn't as you eat the dreams of others and they start to bleed into the real world, if it even is the real world. It's the combo meal of Paprika and Blade Runner you didn't know you needed. Observer is available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, as well as having current gen versions for PS5 and Xbox Series. Number 5, Outlast II. Outlast 1 has its fair share of gore and isolated terror, but Outlast 2 upped the ante in every way. More mechanics, bigger spaces to sneak around, and a story dealing with your childhood trauma that takes over the spaces you're in a way that will have you asking, what's really happening? All the while a religious cult assaults you and your wife, with more and more happening that seems to prove their end of days might actually be happening. This game has you facing everything from mutants, supernatural creatures, your own mind, and the end of the world. During lockdown, I speedran this 7-hour game in just 2 hours. Humble brag, subtle flex. So, I know it inside and out. This game is well worth your time, and it's totally separate, unless you want to talk about deep lore, from the first game. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. Number 6, Soma. Finally on this list, a game that doesn't necessarily wow in the gameplay department, but in its writing, story, and set pieces. This game's story still affects me to this day. Soma comes from the creators of the Amnesia series, and I don't want to say too much about it because this game does a perfect job of building up its characters, themes, and world to an implosive ending that has my blood run cold. In the gameplay, imagine if someone took the Flood from Mass Effect and plopped it into BioShock. I really can't recommend it enough to fans of psychological horror. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's super interesting to wonder, what is it that draws you here? To places where time swirls like oil in water, sand between your toes in hallways with no ceilings, paint your mind shades of red and blue. Why are you so interested, huh? So curious about broken people doing awful things, people being tortured? What does it say for you? It's okay. Perhaps you're just curious. It's okay. I didn't mean to get mad. But you made me do it. How does that make you feel? You want to wonder what's real so bad? Look around. You're living in the minds of the many. Without your place in their memory, you're a tree in the forest. There is no real. There is no you. Your memories spill out like poison from a snake's fangs, and the ground beneath you can't grow crops anymore. You're part of the club now. If you want to see more horror spotlights and content just like this every single Tuesday, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the FGS channel.